Hey, everybody. Welcome to Average G.I. Joe podcast for another edition of Sea Stories. I'm your host, Andy Mattis, Aegis FC from the USS Donald Cook. Sea Stories are unlike fishing tales in the sense that they are generally true and not as much hyperbole and made up, but they are akin to war stories or something you would hear if you walked into your local VFW. Generally shared by sailors, veterans, and the like, often over a few brews. And in honor of that, we've started this podcast. And today I'm drinking the Red Molly Irish Red Ale from Pale Fire Brewing Company. Adam, how are you doing? What are you drinking today?
Before I go to show off that art can, or you got a special can?
Yes, I do. This
Sweet.
redhead riding a motorcycle, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Andy. What's going on, everybody? My name is Adam. I'm a 10-year Navy veteran of the Tomahawk type, and today I am drinking from Melvin Brewing out of Alpine, Wyoming. I got the Frothy Embrace, 6% ABV, 1 pint, and I got it because the can had a little foil look to it, and can't wait. I haven't even tried it. I have no research on the thing. I know it's an IPA, but I can't wait to review it at the end. What's going on, Drew? How have you been, and what are you drinking?
What's up, man? I'm good. I'm Drew. I'm a 6-year Navy vet. Of the Aegis type, Spy Tech to be exact. I am drinking Frosty the Friendship Dragon.
Oh, shit.
So this can is pretty intense, very bright. This is a whipped frosting double IPA, brewed in Canada. It is a strong beer. That is what it's called. It is, of course, since I'm no punk bitch, 8.3.
Damn.
So, Joe, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hello,
what are you drinking?
hello. I'm doing great. Like I said, my name is Joe. I did 6 years in the Navy, but like we were saying before, I had to get out at 6 years due to excessive coolness. So I needed to make sure that the less senior sailors got a chance to be as cool as I was. And today I am drinking the Space Dragon Hazy India Pale Ale. This is at a City Barrel right up in Kansas City, Missouri. And the can is pretty sweet.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Got a lot of 8-bit characters on there just doing fun stuff. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Never had the beer myself, so this was a new one. This is a new one for me. But it is. Let me see. Beep boop. 6.0%. So there you have it, boys. And I am going to introduce our very special guest here, retired Navy guy, FC Aegis at one point. I believe also a CWIS tech at one point. But correct. Here he is, Chad Conrad. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Well, how long were you in? When did you get out? All that, just a quick introduction on yourself.
What's going on, everyone? Like Joe said, my name's Chad, and I was in the Navy for 20 years. I came in 1994, so long time ago. Jesus, sounds like it's such a long time ago.
It is.
I went to boot camp in Great Lakes, and then I was a CWIS tech on the USS Enterprise, and I did that for 5 years. And then I went back up to Great Lakes to teach, and I think I taught a bunch of you guys when I was up there. And they retrained me to be an Aegis guy, and I was also a spy guy. I went to the Donald Cook, and I spent a couple years with you guys. I got pulled off the ship, hurt my back, had a surgery after that. I went to the Aegis Weapons Supervisor School and went out to the Cape St. George in San Diego. And then I went back to Great Lakes and retired up there in 2014. And then I moved out to, I was still in Illinois for a little bit. And then I got divorced and I moved to New York. And I live in New York with one of my kids and my new girlfriend. And everything's going great. And there's Josh.
Yeah.
And, oh, by the way, I'm drinking Pepsi. I don't know. You can't see it's blurred, but I'm not drinking
Cool.
tonight.
Cool label.
I think it's brewed in like St. Louis or something. I'm not sure.
Taste of a new generation. I guess.
It's 150 calories per serving, and there's like 5 servings or something in it.
Lots of sugar, I imagine.
Oh yeah.
Just joining us, Josh, are you with us, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here, man. I'm here.
All right.
I understand why he's so late is because his goats were turning the turbine, and he finally got the electricity powered on his computer.
I got the goats got it.
You can't leave
I think
in
it
the
was
middle of
tending
barn
his-
racing.
His moonshine still.
He distilled his own beer.
I think so.
But Josh, are you drinking? Do you got anything out there with a cool can label here that we're looking for?
Yeah, let me go. Probably not as cool as y'all. But let me run and get it real quick. I didn't even bring it here, man. I'm sorry.
You know,
Ugh.
I remember my first time.
Right.
Let me take this opportunity to introduce the first bit of the evening. Like I said on the last podcast, we're going to start rating stuff to start the show. And it's kind of like the hook to get people hooked into watching the podcast more. And today we will be... Well, Josh, give us your introduction and let us know what you're drinking.
Oh, can y'all still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I guys got a weird message. I'm drinking Hop Socket by Real Air Brewing Company. It's a hazy IPA. I don't know. It's got like this colorful. You know, I'm a librarian, man. I can't judge a beer by its can, dude. I just can't do it. The colors, I don't know.
That's cool.
That's all I got. Yeah, I noticed y'all. We were having that conversation. It seemed like the more expensive the beer, the more elaborate the art. Yeah,
Ridiculous.
possibly. Well, you know, they got to pay the artist, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Actually, mine does have the artist's Instagram tag on my can.
Nice.
But I was just saying, we're gonna start off with rating some. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
DDG Crests.
Oh man, this is cool.
I can barely see those. All right.
Let's start off with Andy. Andy, why don't you choose a crest?
All right. Well, since they're all DDGs and
Yep.
these are all Aegis, we'll start at the beginning with the Arleigh Burke, or Already Broke, as some people know it.
So I
G51.
picked just 5 DDGs based on what I remember seeing when I was standing geeks.
Right.
And we grade on S through F tier. Kick it off, Andy.
Yeah. This one's actually not bad considering. I like the night motif and everything going on there. You know, it's pretty cool crest overall. Not as much with the trident, which is odd because it's somewhat of a, you know, I guess a DDG platform thing, but when the drag, yeah, let's. I'm gonna give it an A. Actually, yeah, I'll give it an A. Surprisingly good. I like what's going on there.
Drew.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's got the knight slaying the dragon. It's got a really cool like gauntlet holding a mace. The flag though, what is that? Is that like Belgium flag? Is Arleigh Burke Belgian? Is that how you say it? I don't know. It's got a cool motto, fast and feared. It's not fast and furious though, so that's gonna lose points. I'm gonna give it a B.
Joe.
Fast and Feared and Family. That would be if it was, or Fast and Furious and Family, if it had that going for it. But yeah, dude, Slaying the Dragon, Sweet Lance. Yeah, absolutely. A, no doubt in my mind.
Josh.
The USS always broke. DDG 51. Fast and Feared. I didn't know that. It's Fast and Feared. That's funny. It's a cool crest, man. It's got a little knight up there at the top, dude. Got this dude holding the scepter. You know, I'm not sure what the blue and gold and red is, that little flag or something, but I like it. Yeah, we'll go with an A, man. I mean, kind of biased to one of the other ones, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Chad.
This isn't a bad crest. I've seen some, pretty decent crests, and this is up there. The Fast and Feared is not a bad little slogan for them. I like that it's the first Aegis. I'm surprised they didn't do something with the trident, like Andy said. The knight's pretty cool. I'm gonna give it a B though, just because it didn't kind of go with the. It doesn't have anything to do with the Aegis. It does have the shield though, so.
And yeah, I agree with most of those points. The knight is cool. I like the Fast and Feared, and I'll give it an A as well. So, low A, high B, maybe.
All right.
Hey, Chad, why don't you pick the next crest?
Let's do the Stout, 55.
And why don't you kick off the review and rating?
I can't read the other ones anyway. All right, so courage, valor, and integrity. All right, that's pretty cool. They got the little lion's head with the Celtic cross in the back there. I'm a fan of the color scheme here. The little red and the silver. It looks like both the shield has a little bit of silver. The little what is that thing in the middle there? Like an axe has a little silver. The star in there. I like that. I'm gonna give this one a B as well. So I do. This one isn't bad.
Josh.
Yeah, I agree. Double-headed axe. I like the words though. Courage, valor, integrity. I like them a lot more than fast and feared. You know what I mean? Like, can you live your life by fast and feared? But you can live your life by courage, valor, integrity. You know what I mean?
What you got for rating?
Man, Jesus. I don't know. We'll put it in the A cat. Can we put? Well, yeah, I have to spread them across. Let's put it in the C category.
Andy.
Yeah, I knew some guys on the Stout. I do like, courage, valor, integrity. That's a good motto going on there. It's very clean and simple.
That's good. Yeah, I like that.
Works pretty well. I'd say it's good. It's clean, but nothing stand out. So I think a B is a good spot for it.
Drew.
It's not very naval feeling to me. It is cool with the lion head and the axe, but I'm gonna give this one I'm gonna give it a D.
This is where we start making enemies, and we start.
Drew hit the nail on the head. I don't feel like it's very naval either. I think he hit the nail on the head on that one.
Joe.
I'm gonna go with a C, just because I don't know. I mean, there's way cooler crests out there. I also don't know the history behind the DDG 55, the Stout here. I don't. So I mean, if somebody knew that, they'd be like, "Whoa, the double-sided axe stands for something." The time that the Navy used to swing axes instead of whatever else. So
axes.
These throw axes instead of having. That was the original Aegis. So I'm going with a C. Yeah, I mean it's cool, but it's just. I mean, I'm side-eyeing the ones here that have on the list. And I can already tell that they're infinitely cooler and more naval in appearance.
And I'm pretty much in agreement with you guys. It's pretty clean, but nothing that stands out too much. So I'm gonna give it a C, and I think that takes it to about a C. Drew, why don't you pick the next one?
I'm gonna go for the Mitcher.
And kick it off.
All right, so this one's more naval. It's got a trident, definitely an anchor, a life ring, pretty sweet. Like the shield and the gauntlet, like grabbing the lightning and seize the day. This is actually a pretty cool crest. I'm gonna give it an A. I like it.
Joe?
I'm gonna go with a B. It's nice looking. Again, I think that there's better ones out there, but at least this one is very navally, and seize the day. Everybody likes saying that. And carpe diem.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, carpe and all these diems.
Chad.
All right, so this one, I'm not a fan of the seize the day one. I'm not. I don't like it. Also, towards the top with the trident and the golden, the wings up there, it's that gold is on a white background, and I think it'd do better on a different color background. So with that, I'm probably just going to give this one a D.
Oh,
This should be darker. This should be darker.
Shots fired.
Josh.
I like this one, man. I do. I like it. It has a lot of similarities to my favorite one. So it's gonna be up there high, man. I like that. It's like the seize the day, the sweet.
What do you rate?
Ironclad fist is grabbing the lightning bolts. Yeah,
That part's
it's
cool.
definitely
That
a
part's
lot
cool.
more naval than the previous one. I'm gonna go with A, man. I'm sticking in the A category.
Ooh.
Andy?
I've been mulling it over, and it's a great look. I love the shield with the stars, and then the grabbing the cross bolts, so to speak, and the cross there with the gauntlet that works nicely. You got the naval themes going with the life preserver, the anchor, the trident, the gold wings. I guess maybe it also has an air wing on it. I don't know. Go 57. Seize the day is pretty cliche. For that, I'll give it a B.
And you guys hit all the major points. The seize the day is what does it for me. Very like Dead President or Dead Poet Society is like, we've heard it a bunch of times. So I'll give it a C. And I think that, I think a low B, high C is where it's at.
Yeah.
Who picked last? I already forgot.
Thank to Gonzalez.
Who wants to kick it off? Joe, go for it.
Sure, I'll kick it off. It looked a lot cooler when it was smaller. I still like it. I thought it was going to be more like eagles with I don't know. I didn't know there were swords. That's still pretty cool. Got the nautical star on there, dude. Beyond the call. A couple lightning bolts. Yeah, this thing's not really doing it for me like I thought it was going to. C. Sorry, Gonzalez.
You said C?
I said C. As in Charlie.
Chad looks busy. Why don't you go? Chad, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
All right. Let's hear your rating.
All right, so I kind of like this one. I was actually looking up the Gonzalez. I wanted to see who it was, like the person behind it. That's what I was doing. But I didn't get a chance to. The writing's pretty small. Beyond the Call, I'm not a fan of that one. Beyond the Call, okay. It doesn't do it for me. Everything else, though, I kind of like. I like the gold and the red. I like the star, that little the blue star right there in the middle. with the lightning bolts and the gold background. That's real nice. The eagle's pretty cool with the cross swords. I'm gonna give this one a B, but I do like this one. I just don't like their little their beyond the call.
Josh.
Man, it's cool. I don't think it's very. I think it's kind of down there with the other one. It's not very nautical. I don't see anything that really kind of resembles anything nautical. Maybe those cool lightning bolts in the middle, but I'm going down.
That's what the white represented in the shield.
And that's another question. I wonder. Well, I wonder if they have like committees that decide on these designs and stuff, or they have like several different ones. Anyways, I'm going down south, down to C.
Andy?
Yeah, there's some interesting things going on here with this one. The octagon shield is odd. It's different. I like the Beyond the Call. Also, this is the only one that has a chain around the crest, whereas everybody else has the gold rope. This is a gold chain. So I wonder if there's got to be some significance there. I do like the cutlasses crossed with the eagle. That's good. Remember the Gonzalez was the one that we did the commanding officer swap when we had some controversy on the ship, and we had to expedite our change of command, so to speak. But yeah, as a crest, it's just different. C.
Drew?
I also noticed the chain around the logo instead of like the line or the rope. But it's not very nautical to me. Kind of boring. I'm gonna give it a D.
Ooh.
As far I think it's pretty. Once again, doesn't really stand out, but I actually do like the Beyond the Call. I give it a C, and I think
that pops that down.
I think that goes like just under the mid-tier. And last but not least, Josh, why don't you kick it off?
Man, ours really is cool. I've never actually said that compared to ours to others, but man, Tony, man, it's got everything that the cool ones had, and then more. It's got 2 tridents. It's got the swords, the stars, the chains. It's got missiles. And then faith without fear. How cool. I mean, there you go. Another way to live your life, you know?
Yeah. What you rating it?
I'm rating it as an S. The top.
Andy.
To the top it goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's an S. I always liked this one. I was a fan still initially of the ball caps with the crest. With this crest in particular, more so initially when we first switched over to the DC. I've always been a fan. I definitely recall the fun thing we used to like to do on break at Dahlgren was the one hallway had like all the Aegis ship crests, and we'd like look at the names and the crests and everything. And once you found out what ship you were going to, checking ours out, I always thought it was great. You have the Trident missiles on the sides, the SM2s, get the cross tridents, bald eagle, the gauntlet with the chain, and the everything going on. Faith without fear is great. Obviously we're pretty proud of Donald Cook, the man himself, too. We've talked about that before on previous episodes. It's S all the way.
Drew.
I mean, can this be anything other than like the top? It's really cool. It does have missiles on it, which is, you can't beat that. The eagle, the tridents. But yeah, a little biased, but I'd say it's an S easily.
Joe.
crest is what other crests aspire to be. This thing is sick. And it was one of the best things, like when I got to the ship and I got my command ball cap, just looking at it, I was like, man, just getting lost in all of the layers. It's like an onion. There's so much stuff happening on this crest. Obviously, it's an S. Obviously.
Chad?
I mean, I agree with everybody's assessment, but the one part that nobody said anything is a star in the middle. It's a blue and a gold star, and if you know the story behind Donald Cook, that's kind of powerful in there, and it's got everything. This is definitely an S.
Yeah, I totally agree. And what else, it does this crest is extra, but extra in a good way. You got the double tridents, you got the gauntlet grip and everything. The motto is legit, and it's a warship, and it has the 2 missiles on the crest. So what more could you ask for? S all the way, and that might be the first unanimous S tier crest. Quick recap: Donald Cook, S tier; Arleigh Burke, low A, high B; Mitcher, low B, high C; Gonzalez, probably creeping up onto low B, and then the Stout is a C. With that being said, let us know if you're listening. How would you rate these crests, and give us some ideas for our next rating. But with all that being said, Andy, why don't you take back over?
Yeah. So we are here to talk about our buddy, Chad Conrad here. What we like to do is kind of walk through the life of Chad, or whoever the subject is in this episode interview. So going in the Wayback Machine to the 90s.
Oh boy.
Yeah. High school, kind of like what kind of guy were you in high school? Like what was your running crew? Were you athlete, nerd, whatever? And then what kind of drew you into the Navy?
So high school, I did a cross section of sports. I played football for 4 years. So I knew the football team, but my fall sport for the school was bowling. So I was friends with the bowling crew too, which is a different crowd. I don't know if you knew that. The bowling crew and the football crew, completely different people.
Weird.
And then in the spring, I usually play baseball or track or whatever. But I also played a little bit of ice hockey in the winter time, but it wasn't for the school or anything. It was just like around the town, like intramural, whatever they call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you said the other part was what drew me into the Navy.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
so
do you come from a military family kind of thing?
No, literally nobody in my family was in the military, at least my immediate family. Yeah. But there was no opportunity in my hometown. Like there's no jobs or anything like that. Still like that. And then my parents didn't really have enough money to send me to college. So like I'll just go in the military. So and it worked out.
Yeah.
But
cool.
That was high school. That was a football bowler.
Mm-hmm.
What's your average?
Yeah. So do you remember anything particular about your recruiter? Do you think he gave you a good sales pitch, or like steered you the right way kind of thing? Or was he trying to like push you into something else, or what?
I don't have any bad things about say anything bad, because I walked into the office. He didn't even have, back then they had the little Rolodexes, and they didn't even have my name in the Rolodex. They had like everybody else's. And I walked in and I'm like, yeah, I want to join. And he's like, all right. And I actually I had two different jobs before I chose FC.
Yeah.
I was going to be some sort of AZ, but that would have got me to leave sooner than I wanted to go. So I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. And then they're like, oh, you could be a sonar tech. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that either. And I told him what I wanted. He's like, oh, you qualify for this. So I think they called it Advanced Electronic Computer Field. Yeah. And then mine actually said FC in the contract. So that was kind of cool. So
That's
I got
marketing
what I
right there.
Yeah, I got what I wanted. So he didn't really say anything. Now the other people that came in, they have other stories, but yeah.
Sure.
So my recruiter actually ended up retiring up there. He runs like an auction house back in my hometown.
Yeah. Cool. I'll hand it over to, I think Joe has taken over, or is it Drew taking over for boot camp? But one of the first sailor moments we like to reflect on is, you went to boot camp at Great Lakes just like the rest of us. When you first get off that bus at, in processing there at Great Lakes, kind of, you remember that night, like,
oh yeah,
through your head.
Who doesn't remember that night?
Right, exactly.
You get off the bus and they're yelling at you. They got footprints. They're telling you not to move and telling you to stand still, move over here, but don't move and stuff. It's confusing. And then you go get in line and sit there for like 3 hours while they're just walking back and forth, yelling at you, telling you how bad you look.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely, the first night we got the clothes and did you guys get the basket where you had to hold the basket out and they threw the clothes inside of it in this nice long chain? Yeah. And the first night in the P barracks or whatever they were called, the in processing, that side, the way they woke us up, because we got in at like 11 o'clock and they take you there and then they threw the garbage can down the middle of it to wake you up.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, and one of the guys wouldn't wake up, so they pulled his mattress off. Yeah. Right. He ended up waking up by the time,
he hit the ground.
He woke up. That's cool. But I definitely remember that first night. It was pretty hectic. You got that 30-second phone call. Yeah, I'm here. Safe. Gotta go. Talk to you later. Love you. Goodbye.
Right.
I'm alive.
Yeah, I made it. That's it. Yeah. But yeah, that's the first night.
Right.
I wonder if that call's still made, if they still only give you like 30 seconds nowadays to do that.
Yeah, pretty much. Remember, we watched that that half-assed documentary thing with those dropouts.
They let them use their cell phones.
Yeah, because when does it start the cell phone? Nobody can remember their parents' phone numbers anymore.
Yeah, that too.
Oh yeah.
It's true. Wouldn't even know how to operate the damn things. Phones, what
is
the
this
hell?
Thing? It's a cord on this?
Anybody got a quarter?
Is this a dial tone?
When do I know? When do I start pushing buttons?
I think it's working. It's not working. It's making a noise.
Oh man, we're old. So Chad,
yes, sir.
You didn't have anyone in your family that was in the military,
No.
So what were your preconceptions going to boot camp? Did you have anyone besides your recruiter to talk to? What was?
So I made the mistake, and I'm probably dating myself. I watched Full Metal Jacket the night before I went to boot camp.
For the first time, or like the 100th time?
It was the first time I saw it. Was the night before I went to boot camp. And the only person that was kind of close to me that had ever been in the military was my mom's boyfriends. They're married now, but they weren't married at the time. And he was in the Marines. He's like, yeah, it's kind of like that. And I'm like, oh shit. But he was like a Vietnam era Marine and all that stuff. So they probably did things a little bit different back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that we were going to get like pushed around and stuff like that. And that didn't happen.
Choke yourself with my hand.
Yeah. Did he give you any advice? Like, I'm curious to hear if what the Vietnam Marine vet advice is, or what.
He's kind of a jokester. So he told me before I went to boot camp to not take any shit from them.
Oh shit.
Sound advice.
Yeah. He's like, if you have a problem, speak up, speak your mind. And yeah, obviously that's not what you're supposed to do. But he said that as a joke. So I didn't really
You're an individual. Remember that.
Yeah. Never lose your individuality.
You spent this many years becoming you. Stay you. Like,
they care about your feelings.
But the thing that I did have going in my favor is I was on the DEP program for like a year. So I actually signed the papers. My parents had to sign a permission slip. Like I still have it in my record, the pink permission slip.
wow.
So I was on that program for the year, and I got to talk to them about what it was going to be like.
Were your parents like eager to get rid of you, or were you just eager to go?
I mean, being the father of, adult kids, every parent's eager to get rid of their kids and let them get on their own. I mean,
here,
I think so.
Permission slip. I'll print it off. I'll get it right here.
And I think it's actually true, but more in the context that there was nothing going on in the hometown, and if I had stayed there, I would have gone nowhere. So I think, yeah, they were like, "Go do this and see what happens." So, yeah, and I think my stepfather, he's my stepfather now. I think he was more eager to get me out of the house too. But it was like 2 weeks after I turned 18, I was in boot camp.
That's intense, man. That's intense.
Waste of being 18.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we made up for it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So clearly boot camp was not like Full Metal Jacket.
No.
For us. But I am curious because I feel like my boot camp, I was probably one of the last people that did this, but did you run in boots when you were in boot camp?
Oh yeah, everybody ran in boots, I thought. If you weren't like marching with a group, you had to run wherever you're going. You had to double time it. So if you had like a medical appointment and you guys just got out of chow, you had to run all the way across under the bridge. You got to sing Anchors Away by yourself, and you get to the building. I don't think it's there anymore, but boot camp. So if you guys have seen it lately, it's all different now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had to run in boots. We learned a quick lesson on making sure that we didn't put our hands up when the guy was around you. You don't want to do that. Did you guys have them? What were they called? What were your boot camp guys called? Mine were called company commanders.
RDCs,
RDCs,
division commander.
All right, they were all right. Gotcha. Yeah. And you guys were in ships and all that, right? In divisions. All right, we were in companies and divisions or whatever. Divisions and companies is how they broke us up. So it changed a little bit.
I didn't realize that. I thought it was the ship thing. Just seemed like it always made sense. Like that would just make sense as the Navy, you know.
It does make sense. It just wasn't like that. I mean, it totally makes sense. We didn't even have that battle stations. Do you guys have battle stations?
Yeah, we had battles. Not the like Hollywood one, but we had.
Oh, that's really cool. I saw that when I got back stationed up there again. That's kind of. It's pretty cool. They have a coal one where you got to take bodies through the ship.
Yeah.
We're USS Marlin Spike veterans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that was great.
The only actual never sail. Some reason we kept trying to get it underway. I don't know why. Were you an all-male division kind of thing or integrated? Yep.
No, we were all-male division, and there was like a couple of female divisions, but they were on different. They were on different, I guess, ships.
Yeah.
And you weren't allowed to look at them. Right. Don't even look.
No. Which
is good advice back then.
Right. Till that 5th week, and then. Yeah.
Did they really put saltpeter in the food?
I don't think so.
Who knows?
Maybe.
That was a rumor that I heard my entire
career. You were just so exhausted, there's no reason to be aggressive.
Yeah, it's off of you to where you can't get an erection.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember getting a boner in boot camp.
Yeah, the last thing I want to do is jerk off when I've been wearing sweatpants all day long and running all over the place.
Sure it is, Joe. Sure it is.
Just kidding. It's the first thing I want to
do. Right.
So you graduate boot camp. You remember graduation, of course. You remember getting your Navy ball cap. What was that feeling like? Do you remember?
So that they didn't do the Navy ball cap thing like that. I got the Navy ball cap as soon as I went into boot camp.
Oh shit!
What we did is we earned our white hat. Oh. So like you got through a certain week of boot camp, and instead of wearing the Navy ball cap, you wore the white hat, and you were called sugar belts because you had the white belts and all that stuff.
And you were in dungarees, like the real dungarees.
I still think you guys did the uniform rating, and I still think that's the #1 uniform. They were the most comfortable uniform. The Aquaflage was pretty comfortable.
I think I like the dungarees.
You did or did not?
Because of the flare bit. Did they have? Oh, did they always have the flare bell?
Yeah, the flare. So, like, if you were going into a space that had a bunch of water, you could pull it up. Which didn't mean anything because you still got a wet foot, and that's annoying. That's more annoying than wet sock. You know, I got a wet foot now.
And you got to wear your dress shoes around the boat for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, did you go home after that? Did you get a chance to go back home?
No.
Right into training?
Just right across the street. We went to
real quick. What was your first meal after boot camp? Do you remember that far back?
I don't remember it. I think it was well, I think the restaurant doesn't exist anymore. I think it was like a Bennigan's or something like that.
Ooh.
Oh, Bennigan's.
Like something. It was not a big restaurant.
Classy.
Yeah, and my mom and my stepfather were the ones that came in and watched the graduation, spent the weekend there, and then I went to training. I literally started like 3 days later. I think it was right after I got out of boot camp. We started school.
Yeah.
Right now they have like the 2-week in-doc period. They got to go through all this classes and stuff. But no, went straight to the school, started. That was back when it was, we had the tech core. You guys remember tech core?
Yeah, we did.
You guys went through tech core, right? So that first tech core class graduated the same day we graduated. It was so-called FCA school and I guess technically BEE. So, and that's only a difference of like 4 years that they did that. And then they really screwed the training up after that too. It's all computer based.
Yeah.
So you went through tech core and like FCA school, and then you got to pick your specialty here. So how did that go? How did you get to pick your specialty?
So they had 5 CWIS orders, and then the rest were Mark 92. All right, and the first 5 people picked CWIS, and I was the 5th one. So I got CWIS in Virginia, and then everybody else got Mark 92. They went to San Diego though, so they might have.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was Mark 92? Was that?
That's on frigates.
The 3
It's on frigates with the 76 Mike and the.
That's right. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, and they used usually the twin arm bandit for the Mark 13 or the Mark 26.
Yeah.
Missiles.
Could have got into the A school after that one too, or C school after that one.
Yeah.
If you would have had that, I mean, they phased with the frigates out 10 years later.
Frigates were still in business when I was when I retired. I retired in 2014. So
I think they were like decomming
around.
all of those, or weren't they decomming all those?
They're probably
like
gone.
as we were in. I don't know.
Yeah,
I knew I had
moving more to
a dude on a frigate down in Mayport.
Yeah,
and they're. I think most of them are gone. I think the Samuel B. Roberts might still be commissioned.
probably move more to like Mayport Pass and stuff like that for like drug ops and stuff. Yeah.
Did you want to go to Norfolk, or did you want to go somewhere else?
Well, I'm from upstate New York, so I kind of wanted to go to the East Coast to be closer to home, so I could visit. Because I was a young kid, I still wanted to see my friends.
Right.
So I wanted to get the East Coast. So I got what I wanted. I got to go to Virginia. Virginia wasn't too bad. That was the Dam Neck base, and that base is really nice. Or it was nice back then. It's still the exact same now.
Yeah.
It's like the exact same.
Nothing has changed.
Yeah.
It was nice back in the day.
They had a roller hockey rink in the back there. They still got it. Like, nobody plays. I don't even know what they use it for. I think the kids go out there to drink.
So you started, you finished your school, and then you got to pick your ship, correct? So
I went to CWIS C school, and towards the end of CWIS C school, we got to pick based on, they did your averages, and if you're a class leader, you got points, and you picked an order like that. And I didn't do as good in C school. I think I was like middle of the pack. I think there was 16 people and I was like 8th. So I went to the Enterprise. That was I wanted to go to a carrier, and I got there's a lot of fun on the carrier for a little bit. And it's really, really interesting to see. It gets old after a while, but it's really cool to see. So,
man, I'm always so jealous of the CWIS. Like when I'll show like people, they're like, well, "What'd you do?" And I'll show them like, "No, this is the little radar I used to operate." And they're like, "Okay, that's
65. Oh, that's a new one."
But that CWIS, man, that CWIS is cool. That thing, people always love to see that thing go off, dude. That thing is crazy.
Yeah, 75.
We have so many different I've seen not just the Navy use it. I've seen it mounted on like trucks and back of 18-wheelers.
Yeah. That's great. That one's the nice one right there. That's got the surface mode on the side, the forward-looking infrared, so you can pop that onto a fast attack boat and fire 200 rounds into it. It's really cool.
That's what, the Block 5 or something?
Don't ask me the blocks. I don't remember all that stuff.
Because they put that one like on the Cole and like then other ships or whatever, because
they put them on a lot of the destroyers, because the destroyers were dealing in when you're over in the Persian Gulf, you're dealing a lot with the fast attack guys that are coming up and seeing what your reactions are going to be. So they have that now as an added. Well, it's really kind of cool to see if you ever get a chance to see it. So it's like a video game. They're playing a video game. Just go over, lock on it, fire.
Yeah.
CWIS was always like one of the coolest specialties that you could get into as an FC. It is on all the hype videos. They're always shooting it off. People love it.
The job translates well to civilian life too.
It does, because it has everything. It has hydraulics, got pneumatics, got radar. It's got it all. So I loved working on CWIS. It's a very, I want to say, simple system to work on compared to what the Aegis side. Aegis is a lot more complex. And it's pretty cool. It was a lot of fun working on that.
I think there are a lot of simple systems and put them together to make this badass weapon system. So that's great. I didn't realize that you had all those other experience in pneumatics and hydraulics on that piece of equipment.
That's how like the old hydraulic. They fire that's how they rotate the gun is hydraulics. That's the old style, and the new style is pneumatics. Pneumatics is faster. But like with the hydraulics, if the gun were to jam, it will keep pushing that thing through. Where pneumatics, if it jams, it just kind of stops and the air will dissipate. So, and it was faster. So it was, it's a cool system to work on. The radar is really simple. Tuning it's pretty simple. I was always jealous of the tech reps. I wanted to do that when I got out.
I imagine probably once you went, once you finish Aegis, your CWIS days are behind you. Nobody wants you around anymore.
That's true, but
more important as an Aegis guy, I imagine.
They were doing an IA for a while for anybody that had that NEC to go over to Afghanistan not Afghanistan, to Iraq and work on the CRAM, which is the one that Josh was saying is on the truck. So they were actually considering it, but I had an Aegis billet at the time, which was actually a tough one to fill. So they're like, yeah, no, he's good.
Librarian, that's a tough one to fill?
No, at the time it was an Aegis weapons supervisor, but yeah.
What are we going to do without our tech pub librarian?
I love that job. I got so much.
What's that mop doing?
Yeah, I love that job. It was the easiest job I did in the Navy.
Yeah, are you kidding me? I witnessed it firsthand. You have the easiest job of anybody in the Navy.
That was great. Yeah, but I was trying to train on a lot of higher. Like I ended up doing CSC and stuff, and I didn't go to you're supposed to go to that Aegis weapons supervisor and do some other prereqs that I didn't do. And then they kept throwing those collateral duties at me. Yeah, Jesus. Oh, yeah, you're not doing anything here. You can have this. You're going to be the 3M coordinator. Like, oh, what? Yeah. I did that for a while, too. That was a lot of fun, too.
You were one of my instructors when I went through FCA school. You were
how many of us? Sure. had Chad in Great Lakes? Because I know I did for one of the radar blocks.
I love teaching radar.
Yeah,
I did. It was a radar block as well, and I don't know. I think I might have passed that one. I know I failed a couple tests and I had to stay late on a Friday to retake them. But that's not a surprise to anybody in here. I told you guys I was a shitty fucking tech my whole life.
Yeah.
I faked it for so many years. But no, seriously. When you were on the carrier, did you do 6-month deployment, or how many did you do? Just
I
one
did.
or two?
I caught it while it was coming back, so I don't really count that one. But I did 2 full deployments. The first one was a great deployment. The second one was not so great. But it was
2 1/4, 2.5.
I'd say 2 probably 1/4. And carrier workups, you're out.
That's
Carrier
quite a bit of
workups, you're
doing
out
C
for longer. It wasn't long enough to get a C service ribbon, so I didn't really count it. Like 90 days is a C service.
Yeah.
90 days straight?
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
So that's quite a bit of seat time for your first I guess time away spent on deployment and stuff for your first command. I mean,
Yeah,
I guess Drew, you did you did 2, and then all the other times that we went out to sea.
Yeah, I did like 2.5. Yeah.
I only did 1 with you guys, though. I only did 1 deployment with you guys.
Yeah.
I did the 06 deployment or whatever it was when we both, Andy and I, got tattoos on that deployment.
you were off the ship before the rest of us got off.
A lot of you, yeah, I was. I messed up my back, and I kept going down to medical to, hey, I got something going on. Can you give me some, Motrin or whatever? And they finally sent me to sports medicine, and they did an MRI, and they're like, yeah, you got to come off the ship. You need surgery. So I'm like, well, I don't really want to. No, like, you're coming off the ship. You're going to get surgery. Like, they didn't really give me a choice.
Remember you limping around the ship like a friggin' wiener for about a month. You couldn't leave.
It was in the yards. It was in the yards.
Yeah,
that was when it got really bad.
All right, so here you are. You're young Chad Conrad, man. You're I wanted to go to a carrier for some unknown effing reason. And you wanted to go to Norfolk, so there's obviously something wrong. And I guess I'd have to look at your file to see what's wrong mentally with you, because you wanted to go to Norfolk and you wanted to go to a carrier. So walking at the pier that day, or I guess you said you had to meet your ship. So, but seeing the carrier for the very first time, like standing next to it on a pier, dude, I know how I felt. And I mean, I wasn't even going on there. I was just pulling the lines in for it.
So
go ahead.
The interesting part about it is I checked into Norfolk, and the way I got on the ship is I had to fly on the ship and land on the ship on a cod. That's how I got on the ship. Yeah, they were out. Yeah,
what, a cod?
It stands for carrier on board delivery or something like that. It's how they get your mail and your parts. That's how they bring the parts to the carrier, and then the carrier will bring them out to you guys. So that's how they got them.
Yeah.
So we were cargo, human cargo. There's like 7 or 8 of us, and we flew on. And it's not a fun experience. It's not. You got one there. That's Osprey.
That looks fun as fuck.
The cod. It's right there.
That?
Yeah. So in that, if you're walking in the back there, it's got a ramp, and it right there. It's got a ramp, and it'll go up and down, and that's how you get on there. And you'll walk till about the middle of the plane, and you face backwards. You don't face forward. So when you land, all right, they hit those wires, and you your head goes back into the seat and all that. That's why you got to stay backwards. And the pilot, of course, I don't know if you guys have ever met a lot of pilots, but they've got this little way about them. Yeah. And they're like, all right, guys, we're about to land on the carrier. You might feel a little bump. That's what he said. You might feel a little bump. And I swear I thought we crashed. I thought there was a problem.
That sounds about right.
He crashed.
That just scared the crap out of me. But we stepped off, and I got my sea bag and my garment bag, and I'm just standing there for staring. It was awesome. It was a really cool experience. I should have brought some pictures to this.
Yeah.
Post them up on our.
And you're facing back, and it's not really that comfortable. There's no in-flight service, no drinks or anything.
Yeah.
It's like a 2-star on Yelp.
Yeah. You didn't leave a good Uber rating for him?
No, and I didn't. And then I actually got to fly off on a COD when Caleb was born.
Oh, really?
So I flew on and off that ship on a plane.
How was the takeoff?
It wasn't as bad. Although you're still facing backwards, so you're like flying forward and you hit your head on the seat in front of you.
Yeah.
So you got to wear like the cranials and all that stuff when you're on there because you're going to do that. But you're normally strapped in okay. I'm kind of a big dude, so I freaking bump everything. So yeah, that's how I left the ship. So it's a really cool experience. A lot of people though, ton of people on that ship.
Yeah,
lots of crazy stuff.
All right,
bowling alleys and the McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
There's a joke
about that on period.
So we had a joke about this for the new guys, and call it hazing or whatever you will. But they had this place in the carrier. It was a supply place, and it was meant for like the airplane guys. If they needed a part, they would bring the part there, and they would give a new part to them, and they just go do it. And they called it the rotatable pool. Okay?
Rotatable what?
The rotatable pool. It's a pool of parts that you bring in a bad one, we give you a good one. So that's what it was called. And it had rotatable pool, and some smart ass drew a pool right there. So we tell the new guys that, hey, you're on a carrier. There's a pool on the carrier. All you got to do, you got to go up there in your shower shoes and your bathing suit with your towel, walk into space. And they did that, and they would take pictures of every single one and put them on the wall. So there's a pool on the ship.
Yeah,
that's good fun.
Bowling
That's
alley.
Good, clean fun right there.
Yeah.
There's a bowling alley. It's called Shaft Alley, right?
Right.
You couldn't get in there. That's a nuclear ship. You couldn't go down there.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, you've already told us about your first time going out to sea and how cool that was. Right on I don't even care about the rest of your sea time, to be honest.
Didn't the Donald Cook have didn't we have a hand crank right there on the mess decks for a while?
What?
For the same idea, kind of a hand crank, like
For the mast?
Crank the mast down. Yeah, the mast crank. Didn't we actually have one installed though? Wasn't there actually a physical thing there?
I
don't know.
kind of remember that now.
I feel like there was something there at one time. Like somebody was literally
Like in that ladder well down to the trash room, right?
You got to watch out for those low bridges.
Yeah.
yeah. And they would put one of those handles on there, like for the fire station handle or something, and would get on there and just get after it, man. It would never do anything, but it sounded like it was doing something. Maybe I was just dreaming. Maybe I just seen that on a movie or something. I don't know.
I can picture it though. I can picture.
The
Yeah.
crank for the mast.
Crank the mast down and go with those low bridges.
Maybe it was like a sound powered telephone or something.
You got to get batteries for those.
Yeah. They're always running out.
Yeah, then hazmat. Go to hazmat for them.
All right, Chadley. Let's see here. All right. So, where did you on a carrier? Where'd you go cranking?
Yeah, I never cranked in my entire career.
Are you
What?
fucking kidding me?
What?
Yeah, I swear to God.
How's that possible?
So
And that's it for this show. Thank you so much for tuning in. But it's not really a sailor on here now.
Yeah.
In here,
So
spent
on
20
a
years
carrier-
pretending.
I hope they recall you
Yeah.
in our war with Russia, and I hope they recall you just so you could do your cranking duties.
Yeah.
Actually, I hope they reached you DD-214. They bust you down to first class.
Okay, so obviously, and a carrier is so big that they have enough people that.
So yeah, carrier's E3 and below,
Somewhat.
and we got E4 out of school.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Man.
So, and then by the time I got to my next ship, I was at first class.
Shit.
So, I wonder what is the cutoff for cranking? Second class?
They made so did they do that on the they had some first classes go down there for like a mess deck master at arms, didn't they?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I think that's how grade A sailors got that billet.
So that was their form of cranking.
I don't know. I don't know why they needed that. That doesn't make sense. It never had it happen on any other ship.
Man, it's almost like a rite of passage, though. I'm kind of agree with Joe, though. You know what I mean? I mean,
were you guys shellbacks?
you definitely missed out.
Shut the fuck up.
No, I'm
There was nothing we could do. That's not us. That's our captain.
Yeah.
You should have
close.
done what every
We tried
good
to do
sailor
it.
does and volunteers
feel like-
himself when he realizes all of his brothers have already gone through cranking. That's what I would have done if my name got called. And I
No, the
gladly
fuck you
stood
wouldn't
up.
have, Joe. You know damn well you wouldn't have.
I gladly stood up and did my 90 days.
Steele spent half of his
Yeah,
career
but you wouldn't have
cranking.
volunteered for it.
That's the difference between a sailor and an E4 in the Navy.
Yeah.
Right? No, I didn't volunteer to be a crank. They put
Nobody
me there.
does.
That was my welcome to the ship was when I went cranking.
They
We had such an
they
awesome
actually sent us-
CMC at the time.
So they did a form of cranking for us when we went on the ship. It just wasn't in the mess decks. They would send you to like hazmat or something like that, which everybody did. But I wasn't on like the mess decks to do that. But so I just say I never cranked. But I did do the TAD to supply to help those guys out type thing.
Oh, so you did like 3 months in the supply division.
I think it was 6 months that we had to do.
Okay. See, so that's your cranking. That is quick cranking.
Yeah, that was cranking. But it's not the
So-
same. It wasn't on the, like the cranking
Right.
that everybody thinks of as being on the mess decks and
scullery.
washing dishes and stuff. And I didn't do that.
That's okay. You still did your
One of the
cranking,
reasons
though.
you
Now,
were
You did more.
I can store some fucking paint. I'll tell you that right now. I'll store the hell out of some hazmat. You got to keep
You
this
should
stuff
see
3
my
feet away from
basement.
this stuff. I actually almost got an NEC because of that. There was a safety NEC that I qualified for, but I never applied for it. So that was kind of cool.
So then on a carrier, when general quarters was going off,
Oh
and
boy.
were you just in the mount?
So yeah, usually. So my GQ station on the ship went from Mount 22 to Mount 24 to combat. And in combat, for a CWIS guy on a carrier, they just had the RCP, the remote control panel.
Uh-huh.
So like there's no radar screen to look at. And then the little seat on there was like a little pull down, like a
Jump
stool.
seat on a yeah.
Yeah, it's not. And we actually had to stand watch up there, like 12 on, 12 off in combat.
Oh wow.
Or they'd actually have two of us. So there's 4 people. It'd be 12 on, 12 off, but you do 6 hours in the mount and 6 hours in combat.
Decent.
But yeah, so GQ was one of the mounts or in combat. And we actually had OSs that would come down to the mountain. They would be our ammo passers because the magazines were right there. So we had a whole group and we were technically in charge of them. But we're sitting there working on doing scenarios and stuff. We never really whatever, just stay over there and be quiet.
I got the joy of shooting CWIS on multiple occasions, and it really is it's pretty cool. I mean, I never got to see me shooting. I just got to push the button and hold it for the 3 seconds and then say 90 rounds loaded, 90 rounds blown through.
Oh yeah, it was MSS's responsibility on that ship, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Some say I was the best ever at it.
That's what I heard.
You know what? You were actually really I don't even know how to say it, smooth when you were giving your stuff. Just boom, boom, boom. Good tempo and stuff.
And they say just read this and then just do what it says. And people had a real problem, I don't know, reading and doing stuff at the same time. I was like, no.
That's watch standing in there was actually, when we did scenarios, was something you actually did pretty well. Did really well.
I always liked I liked to see was guys that I had to have comms with during those scenarios, like Cowan and Magni and Miller and stuff. Those guys were always pretty solid dudes to talk with. So they made it easy. It wasn't, I just wasn't like, a natural at it. I had guys that I enjoyed talking to as well that, also like, we just kind of were able to do it off each other.
Yeah.
Pretty rad. And then, man, dude. So, I mean, basically you cannot relate to anything that small boat sailors did at all.
What do you mean? I did 2 small ships. You did 1.
You didn't crank on any of those small ships, cowboy.
Well, all we know is the E4, E5
Cranking is serious
in the
stuff.
Navy.
E4, E5.
I know that you're.
I didn't hear what he said.
Say again.
What'd you say? E4, E5 was what?
I said all we can provide experience on is the E4, E5 experience in the Navy.
Yeah, some of the other side stuff is a lot. It's funny.
Can I take over really quickly?
Yeah.
I got some quick hitter questions. Can you describe the ship smell?
Musty smoke metal. All right, and this, you had it in your shirt. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's like almost like JP5 smoke mixed with funk. I'd come home and if you smell like shit, that's what I would get told to me. You smell like shit.
And my second question is, we're all sailors belong on ships belong out at sea. Can you describe your first time being on a boat out in the middle of the ocean?
All right. So like I said, I landed on the carrier was my first time. So a lot of people talk about the rocking and rolling, the pitching and yawing. It didn't really do that on a carrier. But for me, the noise that was so loud on that ship, like you had to have earplugs if you went on the flight deck or even in the hangar bay. They were, really easy to get lost because even on a small ship, your first day you're getting lost. So I'm on a carrier. So the big thing you learn on the carrier the first day is how to get to the hangar bay and how to get to the flight deck. And then usually you can find your way from there. But I was just kind of in awe of the size. It didn't really move that much. And then when I got inside the ship, it didn't even feel like we were at sea, if that makes any sense. I mean, you felt like you were just on a ship, but you didn't feel any movement or anything. And back then, like there was no internet or anything like that. That was a long time ago. No internet, no email. So like my first deployment, you're writing snail mail to everybody, and you're waiting like months for a response. So you felt kind of isolated. They still got some TV stations out there, but yeah, it was very, very loud, very, very big and confusing for, just getting there. Chad Conrad, small town, upstate New York, going to a big carrier. It was kind of overwhelming a little bit.
Speaking on deployments, can you describe your first deployment, like expectations versus reality?
So the expectations, I heard all of the older sailors telling these crazy stories. So I was expecting that. And some of it happened, some of it didn't. Like, none of the crazy.
Like stories of like mystical monsters and like
yeah. Oh, we went off
like
they'll tell you
krakens and stuff like.
No, it's usually the bar stories and the people that they see and all that crazy stuff and the shows that they see.
Live sex shows, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, exactly.
Like in Amsterdam.
Yeah, exactly.
They fill your heads with this, oh, dude, all we do is get fucked up, bang chicks,
and it's Vegas, but on tour.
What is it?
And you're rock stars, and all the girls are throwing themselves at you.
Yeah, all you do is you write your name down on a piece of paper and just like throw it, and then somebody calls you, and next thing you know, you're impregnating the locals.
Yeah, so it's not like that.
No.
But my first port when we went on deployment was Palma, Spain in the summertime.
Good
all right,
times.
so it was a blast. Did you guys do that one at all?
Yeah, me, Josh, and Drew did it on the first cruise with JJ. That was our only
I was
Poured on the way
cranking
back
there in that
after
time,
the-
I think.
After the beer day. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, you were out for a while then.
Yeah.
But Palma, Spain. So I was 19 years old going into Palma, Spain. I didn't realize all the beaches were, didn't require clothing and everything. So
Yeah.
it was a kind of a bit of a culture shock. And the first night, obviously, I got really drunk, like bad, and I didn't really control myself too well. And the bad part is I had duty on the second day, so I got really smashed the first day in port, and I was supposed to have duty the second day. But
Now you're a sailor.
Well, what ended up happening is I forgot about this. I took a buddy of mine's duty. He was married. He just got married, and he had like duty the day before deployment. And I wasn't married at the time. I was single. So I took his duty so he could be with his family. And he said, "I'll take your first duty overseas." Thank God he remembered, because I wasn't late for anything, and I got to nurse the little hangover that I had. That was a good time. Was a Daiquiri Palace there when you were there?
Yeah. Like the
Did
whole
you get the
wardroom.
t-shirt?
Yeah,
You got
the
the
whole
t-shirt?
wardroom got t-shirts. And the Chiefs mess.
Oh, of course they did.
Yeah.
We couldn't take shots on our deployments, dude.
This one we could. This was when men were still men.
I remember
Tyler
them
had a
saying,
great
but
story
nobody
about the
listened to
Daiquiri
that.
Palace. That was his favorite joke.
What were some of your favorite ports? Overseas ports, like Joe likes.
From my
That
entire
doesn't
career, you're saying? The whole thing?
Yeah.
All right. So my favorite port, it's going to sound weird, was Naples. But that's because we did a tour to Rome and we got to see all the sites, and it was like a guided tour and everything like that. So that's probably my number one port that we hit. Surprisingly, Andy, I number two was Lisbon. I loved Lisbon.
Lisbon was really good.
I had a really good
I
time.
agree. I love Lisbon.
It was so much fun going there. Just the way the whole town was. We did that tour of the church or whatever it was. That was the Fatima, I think that was the name of it. That was a lot of fun. So I'm putting that at number two. And then there's a couple of ones like those are the good ones for like seeing like the sights for the world and stuff like that. Oh, I got to see Rome. I got to go see, the Colosseum and all that stuff. And then there's other ones that were for fun. Like I had a lot of fun in Palma. I had a lot of fun in, I ended up hitting 5 ports in Liberty, but I could only go out in 3 of them because I got in a little bit of trouble. Yeah, I got put on Liberty risk and they kept extending it. And it's just because I was late coming back to the ship. So come on, like whatever.
Yeah.
What else? So Suda Bay, Crete, we hit. I had a lot of fun in Suda Bay. Phuket, Thailand. For partying was a lot of fun. That was actually the last port that I hit in my career. So I kind of had a lot of fun out there. I went to Australia. I got kicked out of a casino in Australia. It was a lot of fun. Well, the casino was named the Conrad Casino, and there was rooms they kept telling us that we couldn't go in. So I told them that my uncle owned it. I showed him my ID. I walked in, I grabbed a sandwich and got kicked out. That's a true story. I was in there for 2 seconds, but I got the sandwich and I ate that sandwich.
It was a good sandwich?
It was dry, but
Did they say good day as they were kicking you out?
No. Come on, lad. I'm like, it's Chad. And they kept saying, come on, lad.
You're like, it's Conrad.
There you go, lad. I'm like, all right, man, come on now.
I'm surprised you didn't say Dubai, where we get the Kenny Rogers roasters.
So Dubai's got a special place in my heart because that's the port that I've been to the most in my life. I've been there 13 times.
Jeez.
So yeah, everybody goes there on
13
deployment.
times?
13 times. So the Kenny Rogers roasters isn't there anymore. Yeah. So the
No one to
mall,
fold them.
they finished the malls over there. So did you guys go skiing at that one mall?
Yeah.
That was there when we went there, but we didn't go.
It was there. They were like just opening it.
Yeah,
I went skiing there. Snowboarding. Yeah.
Dude,
Snowboarding,
they should
yeah,
have a
and
statue
you get
of
kicked-
you
just
out
so
there
you know,
13 times. That's crazy.
You get kicked out of that place if you know how to ski or you know how to snowboard. If you're going fast, they're like, all right, you got to go. That's a true
I
story.
didn't
But
know this before.
like I ran out of things to do. I went to the big hotel there that looks like the ship. It's like a 7-star hotel.
Yeah.
There's like I got to the point where we ended up going to the water park there.
The water park was cool. Yeah, we went. I remember me and Storm went on Thanksgiving or whatever.
I was at the water park with you. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hawaii. We stopped at Hawaii twice. The first time was good. The second time sucked because the day we stopped in Hawaii was the same day that tsunami hit Japan. So they secured Liberty because they were afraid that something was gonna happen. Nothing happened.
The sortie. Yeah.
I mean, nothing happened to us. Yeah, they didn't make us sortie. They made us stay in port and not move.
Right.
Because in Hawaii, that's got kind of a protected bay in there.
Yeah.
But they're like, yeah, you're not going out in town. We're afraid you're going to get hit with the tsunami.
I'll take the risk. The risk.
Spain was a lot of fun. That's where I got my tattoo on my leg. And we kept drinking that espresso. And we saw like all of Barcelona in like freaking 35 minutes.
Yeah, I tell everybody that story. It's a great one.
That's some strong coffee. I think I'd have a heart attack if I had that now.
Yeah. Well, we had 5 of them in a half hour.
It was raining. What do you mean? It was raining.
Yeah. we had dinner or we had lunch.
And they bring a little shot out and then bring that little thing.
1 or 2 espressos. And then we started walking and it starts raining. We dip into a coffee shop, have like 2 or 3 more.
And then you saw the
and then stop and blow somebody's toilet up.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are some of the ones that, like Bahrain. I was there 10 times. I had fun in Muscat, Oman, but I didn't like what happened after that.
Yeah.
How'd you have fun in Oman?
Weren't we there for like a holiday?
Yeah, we were there for New Year's. Yeah, I remember I had the midwatch.
It was a blast.
I was on duty.
It wasn't a lot of things to see in Muscat, but hanging out with everybody was a blast. I mean, that's where you get all your memories from, is hanging out with everybody.
Right.
That's the best thing.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say that's the best thing about this group, like the Donald Cook. They have that site where people were going to reunions and stuff. Like I went to the Syracuse reunion and saw a few people. So I feel like of the commands that I was at, this has the tightest group of people that we had. I liked the cruiser, the way it was set up and stuff like that, the best. The carrier was just kind of cool. It got old after a while, but that's like the differences in the ships. Like this was a very tight knit crew.
So sometimes I bring up sailor experiences, and these are like things that if you're in the Navy, every sailor has experienced this every once in a while. And I like to bring up the ship's bar on deployment. The ship's bar on deployment? That's the last bar of the night where the whole ship gathers.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Can you explain your experience with the ship's bar?
Ship's bar is where all the fights happen. It's true. It's where all the fights seem to happen. It's where all the stupid stuff happens because it's right before you go out. For example, I think it was on the Enterprise, we pulled into France, and we had a buddy. We went to this ship's bar. That was the last day he was there, and this bartender or whatever told one of my guys actually, to take his feet off the speaker. It was like a brand new speaker, and he's talking to some girl, and he didn't listen. And the guy came over and said, "Take your feet off there. Come on, it's a new speaker. I don't want to take your feet off." And then he had his beer on there too. He still didn't. He had his beer and his feet still on there. Third time, he knocks his feet off and he says, "All right, you're going to have to go." Right? Kicks him out. So he takes his beer, he looks at him, and he dumps it inside the speaker and ruins the entire speaker. That's the type of stuff that happens at those. So I don't know. I haven't had a lot of positive experience. I've had a lot of like, all right, good conversations. That's the best conversations too, because that's where you get to know everybody, right? But seems like where it's all the aggression is. I don't know if that's my experience. I don't know if that's everybody else's.
I know I've saved a lot of money on deployments because at the ship's bar is when everybody wants to buy you a drink.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Did you do any deployment souvenirs?
not real. I got stuff from each port, but it's not like, you know, how somebody gets a keychain or something crazy from each port. I didn't have a set thing. So there's like plates, just stuff that has the names of the, you know, the port, the town. My dad, actually, I would send him postcards, and I think he saved every one for my deployment.
Cool.
So that's kind of cool. I got to see if he still got them. But I didn't do anything set, but I did get stuff from each port. The big one was Cuban cigars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Cuban cigars, usually in the Middle East somewhere. You get the Cuban cigars, and you could bring them back.
Remember when we were at the duty-free shop and we're like
I like
talking
to
to
shop
guys?
at the duty-free shop.
Yeah, right. But we had asked that guy that clearly knew nothing about cigars, and we're like, "So is this one better than this one?"
Oh,
Of
yes, my
course.
friend. My
Of
friend.
course.
Yes,
We're like,
of course.
"Oh, and this one's better than that one." Of course. Like, you
Oh, it's
just
good.
said the same thing. All the
Whatever
time.
you say. Whatever you say. I bought a lot of those, though. I think I still have some. They're dry as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. From that deployment, like the 06 deployment, like
Yeah,
50 years ago or whatever.
Yeah,
Hey, now.
running through and selling, getting rid of something. Yeah. It just got too stale.
With the technology we had back then, you could have had a little travel humidor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine actually recondition them after I retired, so they still had some humidity in them. But I just haven't. Since then, you know, like I said, I got divorced and stuff like that, so I didn't really have time to take care of that stuff.
Yeah.
I rolled mine into a blunt.
Yeah. Also a good move. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna do
listen
that in a
to
little bit.
Pitbull.
Do you guys got anything else? Because I got I have one, like, I want to delve into his 20-year history, but if you guys got any more sea stories you want to ask him.
I kind of want to. Okay, so like everybody else, you made everybody that we're speaking that is currently on here. We all made E4 before we got to the ship. You already said that you did that as well.
Yes.
How many years did you spend as an E4?
Hang on, I got to do
How
the
many
math
times
here.
did you take the E4 to E? How many times do you think you took the exam before you made E5?
E5? I took the E5 exam twice.
The good old
Man.
days.
Must have been nice, dude. Must have been
And then
nice.
I took the E. No, so I mean, yeah, it sounds like that. I took I was an E5 at 2.5 years, and then I was an E6 at 6.5 years. Okay,
Why wouldn't you stay in the Navy?
exactly. And then I stayed at that rank until like my 17, 18 year mark. I was an E5, an E6.
Yeah, well, you weren't a great
Stuck there.
sailor.
Yeah.
You were the
People's
shittiest
experiences
first
of me
class I've ever
vary,
seen.
just so you know. So
Yeah.
somebody might say, "Yeah, that dude's awesome." Somebody's like, "Dude, that dude's a jerk, man," which is true. I am, but
I remember when we found out you were coming to our ship, and I was like, "This dude's a fucking douche."
Andy wanted to fight me. He told me the first day he wanted to fight me because he thought I was an asshole as an instructor. What's funny is like I said, you'll hear varying, like, people, you know, some people say I was a jerk and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The problem was you guys had just gotten out of boot camp, and it was really hard to get people to pay attention. Like, it was you guys, not you guys, like, but students in that time.
Yeah.
You know, they're not budgeting their time right. They're not, you know, all that stuff. So they're getting in there and they're like dead tired. So you got to do something to keep them awake. So I was a little over the top sometimes when I taught.
Yeah. But
like-
you did tell us about cracked chicken, so
That stuff, I wish it was still in business. That
I
thing,
know.
they tore it down and they built up across the street right there.
I forgot about that.
That stuff was so good.
It was. It was.
How would you describe your leadership style?
My leadership style varies depending on who is working with me. You can't just have, you know, everybody's different. Everybody relates different. You can't just have one style. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would have goals, and I would say, here's my priorities. This is what I look for. And I always like, your system comes first, your spaces come second, and then, you know, all the other crap collateral duties and stuff, that's last. Uniforms, even. I'd rather you have working systems than good looking uniforms. Some people, that's priority number one. So like, I wouldn't treat like Joe and Andy completely different, because Joe was a pain in the ass. No, I'm just kidding. No, but like you couldn't, because everybody has different personalities. So some people needed, a kick in the ass. They needed you to challenge them, like, oh, are you going to do that? That's how you're going to be. And some people said, you got to try to make it like it's their idea, and then they follow it. So you just got to know, read who you're dealing with, and then develop, how you think you can relate to them as a style. You know what I mean?
So here's my question is, you've had a long naval career.
Yeah.
You get to E6, and that's when you have to be leadership. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
So you get guys like Andy and Joe and Drew. They come in, they're young E3s, E4s, and they're complete dickheads. We know these guys, they're fucking assholes. And you spend years. I didn't
have that relationship with them.
I know, but still at a certain point, you're getting groups of guys like these guys, like these assholes. So you spend your years molding these guys into like a sailor, essentially. And then boom, you ship them off because they did their time. They're going on to their next duty. They're getting on, and then bam, you get a new fresh of young assholes once again. Like, how do you motivate yourself to start all over with a new batch of sailors?
The good part about, I guess the good part about that is not everybody leaves at the same time. Okay. So if you're staying on the same ship and doing that, like, it's a gradual thing. So you try to rely on some of your senior guys, hopefully you've taught them good enough to where they can teach somebody else. That's kind of the goal, right? You want them to be able to teach everybody. So, the newer guy. And then again, you got to get to know the newer guys, and you got to sit there and see what makes them tick, and try to get them to see everything from your perspective. Like, hey, this is where I want your goals at. Like with new people, like when you get new people, the biggest thing is you got to get them qualified on everything, watch standing, guns, everything is like, you got to just do everything for them. So it kind of starts before they get there, just getting everything ready to go for them. But is it frustrating? Yeah, it's a little frustrating having start, like you just got everybody trained up and they're doing their maintenance. They're really good at what they do. They're standing watch the way they, you sat there and did your time with them. Yeah. So you trust them, and now you got these new guys coming in. You're like, all right, here we go again. But hopefully, some of the younger guys that just went through that would take them under their wing.
Yeah, okay.
That's how we were taught to do that. Like on the Enterprise, like as an E5, like the E6s, they never did anything. Like when it came to showing the people around and stuff like that, that was all on us. So
my last question is, what's the difference between a guy that retires at 20 years and a guy that retires at like 26 or 28 years?
So what are you looking for, meaning the difference?
I don't know, like
personality wise, or
maybe like job.
Okay, so think about it like this. I retired at 20 years. 20 years, 2 months, and 8 days is how long I did in the Navy.
So I've made comments that like people know exactly how long they were in the Navy.
It's on your DD-214.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's on your DD-214. That's the only reason I know it like that.
Okay.
It's right at the bottom line there.
Okay.
So what was the question again?
Sorry. What's the difference between guys that retire right at 20 and then?
So I retired at 20. I was a chief. All right. So you can get up to 20, and they've done, I don't know if they did the rules back then, but they've done rules now to where, like, as an E5, you can't do 20 anymore. You can only do for 14 years. But as an E6, you can do 20. As an E7, you can do 20. As an E7, you can do 24. As an E8, you can do 27. And as an E9, you can go to 30. So if you're talking about somebody that did 26, you know that they're at least the rank of senior chief, most likely, unless they were grandfathered into some sort of weird program, or maybe they got in trouble somewhere. So they're more like when you get the chief, you're worried about your division. Senior chief, you're worried about your chiefs. So they're in kind of a different role. So a lot of them, and I thought this too, to be honest with you, when you got out of the Navy, you're thinking you're just going to roll into a position where you're similar and, stature to the Navy. And that's the biggest culture shock that you get after you've done 20 years, because you're back to, you're nobody. You're nobody. You got to prove yourself again. So, and that's fine. That's great. But that's like kind of a hard pill to swallow after 20 years of building yourself. But it happens. And that's what, like, you got to train for this.
How many shitty sailors did you see over the course of your lifetime, though, in your 20 years that say we're hitting their 12-year mark as an E4 and like, oh, fuck, but this person really wants to stay in the military. All right, you're automatically advanced to E5. Now, I'm not saying that every senior chief, every master chief, or every whatever before that is garbage sailor-wise, but, I mean, how many garbage sailors like the free fucking ride? I mean, you don't have to be, I want to make this very, very clear to everybody that, new listeners, old listeners, that you don't have to be the smartest person in the fucking room to be anything in the military. I've seen the smartest guy in the room be an E4 with no chance of making E5.
That was me.
I've seen guys that have the personality of a brown paper sack that are E6s that are in charge of people that in the real world would get their fucking asses kicked, no doubt.
So do you agree that there's probably a lot of protection that goes on with people like that? Like, I like this guy, so I'm going to let him.
No, I believe that. I think that's overall. I think that they start looking at like retention and shit like that, and they're just like, but this person really, 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 really wants to be here. This person, on the other hand, might stay if he makes second class, if she makes second class, if she makes first class, or whatever. But this person here, who has taken the test 1,000 times, looks like hammered dog shit, can't get right to save, his or her life, but really, really, really wants to make a career out of this. I mean, they're willing to turn the other, they're willing to look the other way on something like that, being a shitty sailor. But then again, hey man, you fucking failed 10 PRTs in a row. You got to get the fuck out of here. I mean, I don't know. That kind of shit drives me crazy, especially when you're able to put like years on it. Like, oh, well, you can only do chief this many years until you can't do chief anymore. And then I'm sure that year time comes around. And it's like, chief, what do you want to do? Like, I'd like to stay here forever. Have you seen my coffee cup? It is the brownest thing you've ever seen. I have coffee all day. I love being in the Navy. Tell me what to do. I don't give a shit. Obviously they love little fucking robots. It's the fucking government.
So those old school guys that we used to talk to that had been in there for like 25 years or something, those people don't exist no more? Or not as many, I guess.
Some of them do, but I wonder how many of them get the rank of senior chief because they're outstanding at their chiefly duties and their fucking resume is, clean as a whistle. And how many are just like, but I have nowhere else to go, boss. And they're like, oh, fuck it, man. Hey, ping.
That entirely depends. That'll depend on their chain of command too, because they only have like the billets. Like I'll give you an example. When I made chief, I was getting ready to retire. Right. So I was like, I'm not re-enlisting. I'm done. So my next 2 evals after that were bottom.
Yeah. Rough.
The write-ups were fantastic, which is what employers look for. But like when they ranked you against everybody, that's like, all right, here's everybody that's, staying in, whatever, and all that. And then here's your people that are retiring. So these guys are going to be automatically below these guys. And that's did happen. And I went in to get my my debrief, and I'm like, all right, So just like you're saying, Joe, I'm like, come on, like this guy, I'm like, I'm in charge of 9 fucking curriculums here. Like that, seriously, he had a DUI, you know, like, well, come on, you're retired, you know the score. I'm like, so I see what you're saying, but I will also say that the people who do stay in for the long term, like the ones that are shitbag end up getting filtered out eventually for the most part. All right. The ones that are problem children, whatever. And that is not a very big group of people, to be honest. Everybody that you dealt with in the Navy, like all the people on our ship, we only had a couple that I would even classify like that. Like the ones that are, oh my God, they did problems with, you know, they have problems anywhere. Everybody else is we're all on the spectrum, I guess, of, all right, well, this person's really good at working on the systems, but maybe he didn't really like getting told what to do, so he got a little pissed off when somebody said something mean to him. All right, get him working on the systems. Everybody did, you know, and you just had to, you get what I'm saying? I think the shitbags filtered themselves out. Does that make sense? I don't know.
You're known as a technical guy. You have a reputation. Do you see a benefit of getting rid of, from the technical side of the Navy and in regards to retention and stuff like that, getting rid of the high year tenure and say letting technical E5s be technical E5s for the rest of their career?
What are they that hurting for people that they need to do that?
I feel like
now they are, but I mean, you know,
right now they're having a lot of problems recruiting, but that's
retention's down.
But even if they're not having problems, do you see a benefit of having technical people?
As a technical expert, yeah, I do. Because the systems are getting more complex, but to work on them isn't seeming to get more complex. It seems like it's a lot of stuff troubleshoots itself now. And, you know, so the old school technician, I consider you guys all old schooler technicians. Like you went down into at least circuit card level. Yeah. I don't know if anybody did 2M to component level or not, but so like that training is kind of gone. So yeah, I think there's a huge benefit to that. That's why they have tech reps that get those jobs when they get out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see what you're saying. You know, there's a couple people I can think of that would be really good at that. There was one that I served with on my first ship that, as far as being a sailor, wasn't great, but when it came to working on 48 Echo, this dude, he'd tell you the voltage at a test point, you know, like off the top of his head. That's how good he was. And yeah. Now, do I think they should stay in the Navy or be like associated with it? That's a different story. I don't know the answer to that. I have to think about it a little bit.
I think that would be up to the individual at that point. But people love steady government pay jobs.
Yeah.
People love that. I mean, look at the DMV. Fuck.
But like, even like at a certain point, like the Navy is structured that if you don't advance, they kick you out. But what if you like doing technical stuff, but you don't give a fuck about, you know, the admin side of stuff? You're still valuable at a technical level.
Yeah, I agree. Everybody's got strengths somewhere. You just got to try to work with them. But like, again, with the technical type thing, how often do you need somebody that has that in-depth technical stuff? Do you need them there every day?
Yes, it depends on the system and the ship you're on.
Well, if you're on the ship, you got to think about if they're there every day, then they're going to be eating 3 meals a day. They're taking up a rack and all that stuff. Right. So the question is, do they need to be there to take up a rack, or can that rack be used up better with, you know, an EM or something, whatever? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot more that goes into that. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Well, my berthing cleaning skills were very needed.
Man, I hated berthing cleaners so much. Joe, you volunteered for like a month straight or something to do it, and that was like the greatest thing ever.
Adam said he beat my record when I left.
No, not berthing cleaner.
Not my berthing cleaner's record, man. I had a long stretch. I mean, I volunteered every fucking day.
Didn't you do like the bathrooms every time or something?
Every time. They let you just stick a water hose in there.
Yeah.
That was like a couple months or a month straight or something like that. Like, the Cavill said he wants to do them. Like, Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to have the unofficial record of the most times cleaning berthing in a row.
You should have signed your name somewhere in there.
Yeah. On a pipe
etched
somewhere.
Etched it in there. Maybe in that little room that we used to hang out in with the TV. Where
the best thing about it was I would just walk in and be like, "Don't even fight about the bathrooms. I'm taking them." And I'd get that one. Not the showers. No, I'm not cleaning the showers. That's disgusting. I'd rather clean the shitters and the sinks. And basically, it was just like fucking just put cleaner on everything and then let it sit, then spray it off, and then mop it up, and you were done. And berthing cleaners, they didn't expect shit out of you for like 4 hours or 3 hours.
For like lunch, from breakfast to lunch, you were covered.
Breakfast to lunch, like where's Joe? Oh, he's
berthing cleaners.
Yeah. But the problem it seems like so it seemed like whenever we had to have that stupid inspection, that it always depended on the mood of the person that was there, and I hated that. It didn't matter. Like, you could clean it like 5 minutes, and they're like, all right, yeah, you're good. And then you go down there and full cleanup, pulling dust out from under racks, and then somebody comes down there, and they just found out that their kid got suspended from school on an email, so they're trying to fail everybody's berthing. Yeah, that's the part that I hated, the inconsistent grading.
My favorite thing was kicking out people that didn't live in berthing 3 when they came down to take shits during berthing cleaners.
Yeah.
Nope. But I have to go to the bathroom. Sorry, homie. Like, you got a berthing up front. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
your berthing.
You know,
I remember the foam penis.
The what?
The foam penis. Tell me you don't remember that.
Oh, that piece of fucking yes, okay.
The foam that Brent would put in his thong, and he'd go in there and kick people, the engineers, out of our lounge.
Yes.
Go sit next to him, close to him.
What's up, fellas?
Hey, Josh, I gotta ask you this question, all right? Because I have a story that I told Andy about last night about you, and I still remember this. I've told this story 100 times. I haven't used your name, obviously, but you used to, when you go to take a shower and stuff like that, you used to walk back to your rack with your freaking towel over your shoulder.
Yeah.
Butt ass naked. Butt naked, right? We had that long ass like aisle. It was Andy there. I forgot who else was all in that. It was me, Andy.
Drew. I was there.
Drew, you were there. A bunch of us had
Edwards, Meyer.
Yeah, we did have a long. Yeah,
I think John.
I was at the very end of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there talking to us, right? And Anthony Starr comes down the berthing and opens the door, and you're standing there naked, and he kind of hits you a little bit with the door, and he looks around and he sees that it's you, and he takes the door and he hits you with it like 5 times, and he runs up the stairs, and you freaking chased him down the P-way butt naked.
Really? Oh,
that's a true story. I do
remember that. Star saw it was. I remember that.
Star.
Yeah.
You were fucking pissed because Star fucking slammed that fucking door.
Was it the berthing door, or was it just like that?
Yeah.
And you were naked.
You were butt naked.
I know.
He was pissed off because you were doing what you always do to him anyway, which was always just kind of barely pick on him, but enough that it was just like annoying the piss out of him constantly. And he turned around, he saw it was you, and he's like, God, and I just had the hatred in his eyes. And he banged that door off of you.
He knew you were naked too.
Oh yeah, of course he was naked because it wouldn't be picking on, it would not be picking on Anthony unless Josh was just barely naked somehow.
Because he hated it.
and he fucking snapped. And then Josh was, he got fucking hot, man, because fucking stuff.
In the P-way butt ass naked.
You took off.
You were running down. I don't know if you made it all the way up to the main deck.
You had to go up. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think you ran up the stairs after him.
Oh
I don't think you ran down, like, because right there, you're not far from the mess.
And he would have beaten the shit out of you.
Oh,
he would have killed you.
So the second one that I remember, Cole, that I was telling everybody about beforehand was we had a freshwater wash down. Okay. And we're all up on one of the decks up there.
Radar decks, yeah.
One of the other FCS guys was standing there that you weren't a fan of. And you had, huh?
I think me and Myers got into it, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't Myers. But anyway, you threw a mop, and the mop landed on the ground, and then boom, hit the guy right in the head. and a fight.
Like the handle hit him in the head.
Yeah,
like
hit
I
him
speared
right-
the mop, and it was like, pow!
So yeah, the bottom hit, and it just and then almost started a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the two things.
I don't
that
remember who was was in witness of that.
There's
Oh, dude.
I got one more general Navy question before we get towards the end here. You were on 3 or 4 ships?
3.
3. Okay.
I was on that Enterprise, the Donald Cook, and the Cape St. George.
What kind of stood out to you about your experience on each one? Like, what was the one thing you could say about the Enterprise, that you really stands out to you when you were there? Like something about the Cook, something about the St. George, like the one takeaway or whatever, like whatever it was.
Can you explain the warp drive on the Enterprise? Like, can you explain how that works?
They got a different propeller system down there. It's a different reduction gear. So the Enterprise, that's I guess where I learned all the. I was a young kid back then. The Enterprise was just like a really varied experience, I guess. And I actually came away from the Enterprise with a lot of negativity. Like when I was going up to Great Lakes, like I had just gotten sent to captain's mast, but it got dismissed and all that crazy stuff. But so I kind of left there with a bad taste in my mouth. When I went to Great Lakes, that was great. I had a good time up there. So the Donald Cook, what stood out about that, again, I was telling you guys this before, the group we're a very tight-knit group. Like everybody still stays in contact with each other. Like I still text Andy stupid memes. I've visited, 3 of you guys already. I was hoping, Josh, you'd actually be in San Antonio because I'll be up there sometime next year, but you're in Houston, aren't you?
Yeah, I can be there for sure. My girlfriend's from down there.
It's for a urology conference, but for my job. Yeah.
Check out his wiener.
Yeah. They have prosthetic wieners, and I took a picture of one of them. Just so you know, if you want to look something up, go for my company, Boston Scientific. They have this Get Hard campaign for prosthetic penises, so people that have ED can still get it up. And I believe, Joe, just so you know, we asked on deployment what superpower that everybody would want if they could have a superpower.
I love this story.
I said that I wanted the ability to stop time. Like,
And
I
I
could
believe,
stop
Joe,
it,
just
and
so
then
you
I could
know,
move out of
we
whatever
asked
situation that I'm in. I could move through time.
What
What
superpower?
superpower?
All right.
I think everybody would want. Somebody wanted superpower. I forgot what you wanted, Drew. I remember you answered it, but I forgot what your answer was. Andy, you were like invisibility or something weird like that, right? Joe, your superpower that you wanted was you wanted to be able to give people hard-ons with a snap of a finger at the worst possible times. That's what you said.
That sounds good.
So just so you know, my company makes something to where you can give people hard-ons.
If I had the clicker.
You're a superhero. You just got to get the clicker, yeah.
2 dudes about to throw down at a bar, and now they're fully torqued. They're like, no.
You use the example career day, and it's not so funny now, is it? The career day at school.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not necessarily
not
crime
funny
fighting
anymore.
worthy, but it's entertaining beyond the belief.
So yeah, but like I said, the Donald Cook, we had a really, really tight knit crew. It was, everybody kind of still stays in contact. If you haven't stayed in contact with somebody, I bet you somebody that you have has stayed in contact with that person. Yeah. The Cape St. George. So there was obviously it was a different coast. I was in San Diego, so it was a completely different vibe, I guess. Mentality, whatever. That's kind of where we were still kind of a tight knit crew there, but not so much. Like for contrast, I visited a bunch of you guys already and I went to the reunion and everything. I've only visited one person from that ship so far. So
what rank were you on the Cape St. George?
I was an E6 the entire time until I got back up to Great Lakes.
You're a first class?
Yeah. Told you I was a first class
really?
for like my 17-year mark. That's my cranking, was 12 years as a first class.
It's not.
Fair.
All right, all
Fair.
right, all right, all right. Welcome back to the Sailor Brotherhood.
Right.
But
You did some time.
Yeah, so then that kind of runs into
none of you guys went to Mass, did you?
no.
Am I the one that did?
I went to DRB.
DRB.
I went to a mass as a witness.
Towards the end of your career and everything, you pick up chief at 17, 18 years.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't initiated in proud. It was just proud, I guess. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, we went through the final 24 and all that stuff.
So, you know, what was that experience like? Did it pan
Where'd
out
you
to
get
be
your-
kind of
where'd
what
you
you
get your
wanted it to be? And like, you know, becoming a chief, it did kind of
So,
feel like
the
a
whole-
good capstone to your career. Like
That was one of the things that I'm actually most proud of being in. That's what I wanted to do. Like I took 10 tests for that thing. I wanted it so bad.
Yeah.
But like by the time I got to that point, I'm just like fucking whatever, you know. Like I was getting really frustrated. I didn't think it was gonna happen. And then it did. So the training, I was going through a bunch of stuff during the training too, so it was like pretty rough. I think I told most of you guys the story offline. But yeah, I was going through some stuff like ever since the back surgery. So it made it a little bit tougher. I was also getting ready to go through a divorce, getting ready to retire. So there's a bunch of changes going on. But the final night, it was a lot of good stuff came out of it. You hear a lot of people like, "Oh, it's a bunch of hazing. It's all that." It's not. It's all right. You're in this situation. How are you going to deal with it? It's a lot of that. So that was kind of cool. And then we got to go through it a couple of years after that, watching people go through. So that's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun at the end of my career.
Yeah. Were you every time you went to Great Lakes? Were you instructor duty, or did you pick up different jobs?
So yeah. So I was an instructor at FCA school is what it was called the first time when you guys all went through it. They ended up calling it FC Strand after a while, and now I don't know what it's called anymore. But yeah, so Great Lakes. I taught radar mostly that time, and then when I went back up the second time, that's when I went to ATT, which is like Tech Corps. It's the same thing. It's just called Apprenticeship Technical Training. I went there, so I taught that section. So like, if you think about it in an outside job perspective, it's like teaching basic electronics all the way up to a radar thing, which is kind of what I do now in my role with my job, which is that really translated. I'm tech support and training for CO2 lasers for Boston Scientific. So that translates. I got to train all the new guys and, you know, put together some other stuff for that. And I absolutely love the job. It's a great job. But when I made chief, I got pulled out of the school because I was a first class in the school, and you have a different relationship with them. So they got to put you in another place so you're the chief when you come in, and you're not just the first class when you know, oh, he made it when he was here and stuff. So they put me in curriculum. So I was, I guess, in charge, kind of quasi in charge of all the combat systems curriculums, but basically there was a couple people that did all that stuff. So I was just in their chief. So I didn't actually do it, but they did it, and I was, but yeah, I kind of rode my career out at the curriculum development, which is like in the main building. It was a lot of fun. So it was a couple different roles.
All right.
You guys ready for some beer reviews?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. Yeah. So we're at the end of the show. We like to do review our beverages from the evening, and we'll go around. Again, I was drinking the Red Molly Irish Red Ale from Pale Fire Brewing Company. They're in Harrisonburg, Virginia. It is 5.6 ABV. Red Molly's rich character starts with a foundation of authentic Irish ale malt. Cherry notes, a slight residual sweetness comes from crystal and Munich malts with a touch of chocolate wheat. Clean bitterness, courtesy of mild British hops, balances with the malty complexity and results in a flavorful and refreshing pint is what the literature is on there. I have to really say this is it's a great pint. Absolutely. You know, I was looking at him like, yeah, I got this cool chick on a motorcycle because we decided the theme for nothing else would be cool artwork, because a lot of times, you know, it's never steered me wrong. I've done plenty of things on impulse based on cover appeal, whether it was buying CDs, buying a beer tap, you know, because the tap looked cool, or, you know, I will judge a book by its cover, and it rarely leads me wrong. You know, that's my experience. I'm giving this beer a 4.0.
Nice.
Yeah. Adam, what were you drinking?
Yeah, once again, I was drinking from Melvin Brewing, the Frosty Embrace 6% ABV IPA. I'll show off the can one more time. I don't know if the can is affecting me, but I really enjoyed this beer. It had like this fantastical flavor, like something like Legolas would enjoy. And it was like I crushed this pint. Usually, you know, I'll ride a beer to throughout the whole podcast, but I like crushed this beer really fast. And yeah, it was fucking terrific. I give it a 4.25.
Do you only have the one beer?
No, I have 3 more.
Oh, is it about a 4-pack?
Yeah.
Oh, nice, man.
It was pricey, man. $17 for the 4-pack.
Jeez, dude.
Not worth it, but it was really fucking good.
Yeah.
Drew,
I guess I could treat yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
For the pod, hashtag. For the pod.
Put on your taxes, write it off.
Right. It's a business expense.
Drew.
TNA.
Yeah, so again, I was drinking Frosty the Friendship Dragon. This is from the Flying Monkeys Craft Brewery out of Canada, right? So, as per usual, this thing is a killer 8.3 ABV. And I don't know, man, I'm on the same page as Adam. I feel like the can is maybe affecting me, but it is amazing. There's a whole bunch of written stuff on here. It says dramatic roars of soft warmth expand in the ethereal lactose-laced body of this brew, with airy pockets of vanilla muffled with whispers of lemon, amarillo, motueka, and I don't even know what these words are, hops, whip this. I don't know. It's very in depth here, right? Anyway, this beer is a whipped frosting double IPA.
So it's like a creamy IPA. That's weird.
Yeah, but I don't get a lot of that. I think the ABV really powers through that vanilla lactose that they say is in there, because I don't like alcohol. But it's a really good beer.
Yeah.
Man, I'd take this anywhere. People would be pretty excited about it.
At least the can for sure. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Drink
I'd
two.
at least sip it because it's, you know, an IPA, but I'd give it a try for sure.
No, I drank it really fast, just like, you know, Adam said with his. I mean, it went down really easily. I love the colors of this can. It's a super cool. So I give it I'm gonna give it a 4.25. It's great beer. Really, really good. I wish I bought a 4-pack of this, but I only bought one.
Oh, damn.
Joe.
All right, fellers. I told you that I was drinking the Space Dragon Hazy India Pale Ale from City Barrel, right here in my area that I live in, Kansas City, Missouri. I live in Olathe, though, folks, so it's a suburb. But there's a little thing that says right here in the back. It's a freaking dragon in space, brewed with an abundant amount of oats, wheat malt, Citra, and Eldorado hops. This hazy IPA is loaded with the aromas of tropical fruit. And I showed it to you guys before, and I don't know, this is a rad, like,
it's bitching.
8-bit kind of can, dude, Space Dragon. I'm going to I might even hold on to one of these and just rinse it out and put it on a shelf or something. And I don't know. It's it's cool, but yeah, I think the cooler the label, the more expensive the beer is for no particular reason. But this is really good beer. I'm not a gigantic pale ale guy, but yeah, I say this is a 4.0. Yeah, I'm not gonna throw out my can until for sure, dude. Like this thing's it's a pretty legit can.
It's supposed to come out with a 16-bit next month.
Oh, I can't wait.
The double IPA.
Sonic the Hedgehog can.
Yeah.
I guess next up would be Andy.
Whoa.
Josh, I mean.
Josh. I
Yeah.
knew that.
I started.
I could
Well, I wish I had good things to say. I don't know, man. I thought the can was a cool can. I'm kind of
Can you say it
disappointed in the
again?
beer. I said I thought the can was a cool can, but I'm kind of disappointed in the beer. Oh, you want to see the can?
Yeah, that's kind of the whole idea here that we get to.
Joe wants to see your can.
Let me see
Throw
your
it away. I
cans,
have to go
dude.
get it out. I have to go get. Let me go get one real quick.
Oh, God.
I can't
Started, Joe.
believe I can't believe that some of this stuff happens.
Don't worry, Chad. This happens. Something to this effect happens every episode with Josh, and it's always magical.
That's great.
He has not changed. It's
He's the
great.
same dude. I love it.
The exact same dude.
Everybody's done the same thing. Talk about it, kind of show our buddies.
All right,
Knowing that we're going to take a picture of it later on. And then, oh, here we are.
Yep. Hop sprocket. There we go. Yeah.
What's it called, Josh?
It's called hop sprocket, like a sprocket in the gear, I guess. Or, dude, it's like 7.3 ABV. It's 20 IBUs, which is kind of disappointing to me. So, I don't know. It was lacking. I'll tell you that much. They do talk it up a lot. Talking about they use some innovative Whirlpool hop additions and all this other crazy stuff. But
Take a picture of the can and share it with us on the.
yeah, I can just send you the what do you call it? Copy.
No.
Anyways, what I was, I rank it as like a 2, but I was exploring their website. They have a quote from Willie Nelson, and I like to read that now. And it says, "My doctor tells me I should start slowing it down, but there are more old drunks than there are old doctors. So let's all have another round." So there you
All
go.
right.
To live by, tonight. But yeah, I'll give it a 2.0, man. I'm very disappointed. I probably won't buy it again. I don't know. It's just lacking in the hops end. For being a hazy IPA, I think it's pretty low on the IBUs, personally. Sorry, Real Ale Brewing Company out of Blanco, Texas, which is white in Spanish.
Are we doing a fireside chat today?
Yeah, we can. Why not?
Why not?
Man.
Let's do another one. I'll be better this one. I promise.
Right. We're very weak on the rules sometimes. Fireside chats are 2 minutes. Just kind of talk about whatever. If you have anything to promote, if you're a promoting type of person with stuff going on, or you just want to recommend some. Oh, fuck. The one last thing that we need to do with Chad.
Oh, yeah.
The recommendation. So I need
Oh yeah.
a book, a movie, and
Or an album.
you recommend to everybody, and then is it 1 or 3 songs for the playlist?
3 songs for the playlist.
And then 3 songs for the G.I. Joe playlist, which we take everybody's song. Everybody gives us 3 songs for the Average GI Joe playlist. We have it on Spotify. You can check it out. It's a great
Any songs I want?
diverse. Yeah, any songs you want that would remind you of either Navy times or stuff you're really digging on right now, whatever. Just 3 songs for people to enjoy.
I'll do my latest 3 karaoke songs. For real.
Yeah, why not?
Probably what I'll do.
Yeah.
Books lately, I've been into a lot of. I want to move up in the company, so I've been reading a lot of the latest one I read was Jocko Willink. I read his Total Ownership book.
Oh, right.
I didn't read it. No, so let's be clear on this. I don't read books anymore. My attention span is shot, so I listen to them because I drive a lot. So I have Audible and listen to the books there. A lot of the field service guys do that. So that's good. And I'm also reading Moneyball right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the old, they made that baseball movie.
Yeah, the movie was great.
Yeah, so I'm reading that just to see that perspective from just the book side, and it's kind of cool. I don't like the guy that's reading it, so it's harder to get through. So that's books. Movies I'm not crazy into. I saw that Sound of Freedom movie, and it was all right.
Oh yeah.
It was a good movie. I don't know what the hype is all about. It's like crazy. It's the greatest ever, or it's the worst movie ever. It's all right. It's a good movie. It was okay.
But I just saw that subject matter of shining light on it. I want to see it, but I'm also like, I don't know if I want to deal with that heavy of a topic.
I want to go see. I want to see Oppenheimer. I want to go see that too. I heard it's a long movie. 3 hours. I do want to see that. And then the 3 songs there's 3 songs that I just been listening to a little bit more of lately than anything else, and they're just kind of all over the place. You guys know who Dobie Gray is?
No.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
All right, so he sings. Uncle Cracker sang it too. The Drift Away song.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So Uncle Cracker.
Oh, wait a minute. Didn't he just have like a birthday or?
I don't know. He just died, I think.
Yeah.
No, he died not a birthday.
Years.
The other thing.
Yeah. I think he did just. He would have been like 82 or something today.
Yeah.
I heard about it on the radio.
I just been listening to that. It's something that keeps coming on Pandora, and I still use Pandora. I don't know why. Yeah. Then there's I like that Skillet Comatose song. Skillet's like the McDonald's of heavy metal right now. Kind of like Drake is the McDonald's of rap. So I like that Comatose song. And the last one is going to probably take you a little bit by surprise, but I'm going to do this at karaoke one of these days soon. Signed, Sealed, Delivered by Stevie Wonder.
Nice. Yeah, nice.
All right, Stevie Wonder, in case you're wondering. All right, I took a history of American music in school. When I was going, I got my GI Bill. You went to college and stuff like that. I had to do this stupid class, but it was a really good class. And Stevie Wonder is right now, I think, the best living musician that there is. And he did on that album. He actually did every single instrument, every single part, and they just dubbed it all together. So that's big fan. So that's why I picked those. What else? Anything? Did I miss anything?
No, you got it.
No, that's it. Book, movie,
right. Movie, book, songs.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Cool. All right. Yeah. So Fireside Chat. Adam, you want to kick off?
Sure. First, I want to thank Chad for coming on and speaking. On the boat.
It's great to see you guys, man.
Our paths never really crossed, and we didn't have a lot of interactions, but from Chris Mashavecchio and these guys, they had nothing but good things to say about you. So I really wanted to take this opportunity to know more about you. And yeah, you're a great dude, man. And I just want to thank you for coming on and talking to us. I always enjoy these conversations ever since we started the podcast. And, I appreciate it very much. Lastly, I also live the field service life, but I travel on a plane a lot. I fly a lot, and I'm
flying tomorrow morning.
I crushed over the last several months, I crushed the John Krasinski, Jack Ryan series on Amazon.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Fantastic.
John Krasinski.
Yeah. Fantastic spy, CIA thriller stuff. That whole series, I watched all 4 seasons, and over the last couple of months, only on airplanes. I only watched it on the airplanes. Crush that series. I highly recommend. It'll hook you, and every season gets better. But that's it for me. Yeah, listen to the podcast, Spotify podcast playlist. Every interview we've done, everybody recommends 3 songs, and we throw those songs on the playlist, and it's a mix of things. Awesome. And last thing I say, please, if you enjoy the podcast, share it with your friends. Give us some likes. Help us. These are really cool stories from everyday veterans that, if you're a civilian, I think you'll appreciate. If you're a veteran, you just remember, takes you back and you remember the times from the good old days. But that's it for me, Drew.
Take care of yourselves mentally and physically, as always. Thank you, Chad, for joining us. It's good seeing you again. We did have the great time of meeting here in Orlando, and we had a good time at that Dolphins bar. So I hope we are able to see each other again in November.
Yeah.
Everyone else, please follow us on Discord. We will get that posted, I'm sure, somewhere. It's on our Facebook. If we can get that in like show notes or something here, that'd be pretty sweet. We'll figure that out. That's it for me. Joe?
I want to take my time to just give shout outs to our buddies. RJW, wrestling aficionado down in Mississippi. I'd like to say, who else do we know that we really like? Derek Humphrey, comedian extraordinaire.
Yeah.
Hey, Andy Mattis, one of our own. He's a improv in Virginia Beach area.
Yes. Yeah.
In training. Yeah, say he's a regular like Rob Riggle out there or something. I don't know.
He's a thespian.
But no, Andy, yeah, we still give you respect, but you're not the same respect we're going to give to the people that have been on the show before.
Right.
But yeah, maybe go check out their Instagrams or their Facebooks or shit. Whatever. Just look them up, man. RJW, Derek Humphrey. Derek Humphrey has some good
roast
battle videos.
Yeah.
That's really all I have. I mean, get a bird feeder, folks. Check out the birds in your neighborhood. That's always fun.
Are birds real?
It's still debatable for me, but right. I mean, at least if they aren't real, they still have different species of drones. I guess Josh, big guy. Let's get
I'm up, I guess. I don't know. I always try to challenge everybody to continue to learn, find something new every day. Go find something to look at, stare at, read about, listen about, watch about, learn something new. Because when you're learning, you're growing, and you're always young, and that keeps you young. And that's my advice for the evening. Just keep learning.
Cool.
Nice of you.
Yeah. I'll go, and then I'll give Chad the last word since it's his interview show. I definitely recommend. If you're not into traditional therapy or anything like that, improv or something social of that nature is a good alternative. Nothing else, reconnect with one of your service buddies. That's how this thing started. And you don't have to record it or nothing, obviously, but sometimes just catching up, whether it's a weekly or monthly or whatever, hang out with a couple of guys over Zoom like we do, or if it's just catching up a phone call, or hey, I'm in town, let me catch up and have some beers with you or whatever. When you're on the road traveling for work, whatever it is, it's always a good time. And it's just kind of therapeutic in a lot of different ways to relive the good days or just catch up on what people are doing, all that kind of stuff. See how how they've grown, how their family's grown, whatever's going on. And, Dark Remedy, man, my buddy's band. Things about to really happen, hopefully here. So definitely want to be in on the early fan base, so you could say I knew them before they were super huge. So that's all I got. Chad, what do you got, man?
First off, thanks for having me, guys. It's great to see everybody. It's always great to see you guys. I'm glad you guys are doing well. I love seeing the pictures of the wife families and all that stuff. So I really appreciate you guys spending time. It's great that you guys are getting together. My big thing is take care of yourself. A lot of times you worry about taking care of other people, and you always forget about yourself. It can get out of hand if you keep doing that, and it can get out of hand to where you'll end up losing a lot more than you think you will. I'll just kind of leave it there. So take care of yourself. Go walk out, get like Josh said, go learn something, get some exercise, get up and do something, push yourself a little bit, go learn, play an instrument, something. Just, if you're having any of those issues like that, just go ahead and take care of that. Take care of yourself first, and know that, everybody has issues sometimes. All right. Now, with that being said, like I said, it was great seeing everybody. I do hopefully get to see Andy again because I'm trying to schedule a field service ride along down there, which is like a spot check. Drew, the guy, is stationed in Orlando. So, hopefully he doesn't have a field service job that's down in Fort Lauderdale and I don't get to see it. So I'll let you know the week that's happening. Josh, probably next year they're doing an AUA there, so hopefully I can see you then. But it's great seeing you guys. Thanks for having me. Thanks for spending the time. It is, like Andy said, it is therapeutic. That's actually the word I was thinking about. So that's all I got, man. Cool. Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's all for this edition of Sea Stories. Till the next time.
Special guest George W. Bush.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night,
guys.